Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Nick from the EdTech Throwdown podcast. I'm going to take you all through an example of one way that you can use Canva Code to design an interactive learning module for the students in your class. So here I am on my Canva homepage. I'm going to begin by clicking Canva AI, and it's going to show you down here examples of all the different things it can do, like design images, write, and code. Specifically, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to click on code for me because it's a good way to start in that now it just shows you some of the examples of the things that Canva Code can actually do. For this video, I'm going to copy paste in a prompt that I started putting together earlier that says, code for me an interactive learning module. Next, we're going to clarify what this module is going to do. It's going to teach 10th grade students, so you can substitute out whatever grade level, about writing ionic compound formulas. Again, you could substitute out this about with whatever you want. Next, we're going to get into some of the specifics, like it should give them examples that focus on how total positive charge must balance out total negative charge. Now, this is very specific to what I'm asking it to do. Of course, you would want to include whatever specifics you want this learning module to include. A very key detail if you are designing your own learning module is this next part of the prompt. Include comprehension checks throughout, where students can type in different subscripts as the total positive and total negative charge adjusts until it is balanced. So I would recommend including those same three words in your prompt. Include comprehension checks throughout. And then I clarified what those should look like, and you can do the same based on your content. Students should get an indication that they are correct. Now we're going to add to this as we go, but I'm going to stop there, click submit, and let it think for a second while we see what this spits out. Okay, so it took about, I would say, 3-4 minutes of writing the code, and this is the screen that you'll land on next. Notice over here is my original prompt, and then it has responded with some stuff like try adjusting the subscripts in the practice section. Would you like me to add any specific types of compounds? And this is labeled as version 1, and that's key with Canva Code because chances are you're not gonna love, you might love it, but you're not gonna think the first version is perfect. There's layering to this, so we're gonna go back and take a look at it. But first, let's just see what it's come up with. So it titled it Ionic Compound Formula Builder with a little subscript here. You're going to want to check the information. Like for me, ionic compounds form when metals combine with nonmetals. That's all true and good. It's got this golden rule based on my original prompt. I love that. Some common charges and then some steps to follow, which I agree with. If I didn't like any of this, you would describe that here and ask for those adjustments. And we'll make some of those adjustments in a second, but first I want to see, what their examples look like. So we'll click, let's see some examples. All right, so the next page has some of these examples, and I like this. The explanation is good. There's some things I would add, but I want to go on to practice time and see what it gives me here. And here's the practice. This is super cool and what I was hoping for. So you can see that as the student, I can adjust this up to instead of 1 oxygen, what if there was 2 oxygens? And it automatically adjusts those charges down here. I can try 3. I can see that that's getting, worse and worse. So adding more oxygens is not the key, but if I add more sodiums up to 2, then the charges are balanced. And it indicates that very clearly. The formula then, Na2O. Check the answer, it tells me that it's correct. I love this. And if I click next, I get a second example. And I'm just going to look at all these to see what I might want to add here. Okay, this is awesome. So this is really good, and I actually like this as is, but I want to add more to this. So I'm going to down here in the bottom left, extend this prompt by saying, after the first 5 practice examples, can you add an information page about polyatomic ions? So this is just like extra information to sort of go beyond these first 5 examples. I don't have to get into the chemistry of this, of course, but I put it like as much detail as I could about what I want emphasized. And then I said, then add 5 more practice questions that involve formulas with polyatomic ions, and I'll click submit and see what it comes up with. All right, so this one took a little while, and I actually had to copy paste that prompt in twice. I'm not sure why it didn't work the first time, but it told me, oh no, something went wrong. Try asking me again. So I just copy pasted the prompt in again, and then even that, it said, sorry, that didn't quite work. Hang tight for a few minutes, and I didn't have to try resending that prompt a third time. It did work despite that message. So let's go through and see what it's got now. So this is the same as before. This is the original, all the same examples. I'm just going to click through these because we've seen this already. Here's the new stuff I asked for. So a page on polyatomic ions. It says what they are. This information is good. It's got the list. It's got examples. And now I get to my polyatomic ions practice. With 5 more, I can try these. I can add 2 OH minuses, boom. Now there's a problem here that there should be parentheses in that formula. So that's something I'm gonna have to go back and prompt to ask it to include that detail so that my students are getting good information. All right, so you can see my revision prompt here was very specific, which like literally told it in question 7, because that's what question this is, there should be parentheses around the OH in the your formula section. And this was sort of a test for me to see, like, can you give it specific changes? And you can. Now when I come here and adjust it to 4, 5, 6, whatever OH is, it's got the parentheses properly. The rest of them actually worked fine. Like if I do this here, it had the parentheses, so it was literally just that one that didn't work. And that's it. Now I could think of I could spend probably, I don't know, another hour adjusting this thing and making it perfect, but for the sake of this video, we'll start to wrap it up here. So for my final prompt, and this is always the last thing I do at the end of a Canva Code prompting session, I let it know this is great. Can you keep all the function and text exactly the same, but change the color scheme to something darker, make it visually appealing? This is always like my final step, just to kind of change it up and get it to look like I want it to look. This is unnecessary if you like it, but we're just going to try one more thing to see what it comes up with. Okay, cool. So here's my air quotes final version. There are other things I thought of, like I would like to see a home button maybe in the top left hand corner. So I would ask it for that, but this is my color scheme. I actually like the original color scheme better, but whatever. Let's just pretend that this tutorial is good and I'm happy with it, and I want this to be finished so that I can share it with my students. We're going to come up to the top right where it says use in a design and click that. So it takes all that code that it just wrote and essentially puts it into a Canva website that you can then publish and share out. Now, because we are now officially in the Canva design, you can see you can adjust it, right? Like it's giving me the ability to resize this or add another page to the website. I'm not going to mess around with any of that stuff, honestly. I just want to publish it as is to kind of see what we get. You could also preview it up here, but we're going to go straight to the publish process. You can see some of the options you're given, like resize on mobile. Sure, I wanted to do that. Navigation menu, probably not. URL. Some of this can be edited, some cannot. There's also other settings here that you can play around with. Let's check out those. Website description, I don't care for this example. Password protection disabled, yes. Disable visibility, I don't need this. Searchable, link preview, sure. Let's just leave all those settings as is and click publish. All right, so you can see it gives me the link to my website. I can also click view website myself, but I'm gonna copy this and then paste it into a different browser to assume the role of one of my students so I can view what they're gonna view. All right, so now I'm in a different Chrome browser. Up here, I've pasted the link to my new website, and we're gonna hit enter to navigate to that. And here we are. This looks great. All the buttons are clickable. Information, practice time, all the functionality seems to be the same as it was when I was looking at this in Canva. And I think that pretty much wraps up this video. I'll just close it by saying that this is crazy how well it worked, and just the accuracy of all the stuff, in particular for something that's quite challenging a lot of times for AI, which is with math and chemistry and formulas in particular. So I'm very happy to see that. And now I've got this learning module that can live on for my students to use, hopefully for years to come. That wraps it up for this video. Thanks a lot for watching.